management looks like when you first open it up. You will expand the domain name, and under the group policy objects, I have several group policies already created on this machine. So to create a new group policy, you will come to group policy objects, you right click and just click new. Here you'll assign the policy a name. I'll just call this restricted access. And I'll just click OK. So what I'll do is edit. So to edit this policy, you just right click and go to edit, and this opens up the group policy management editor, where you can add the various policies that you want to be part of this policy. Now the first policy that I'm gonna work on is in section 1, which asks to control access to several items or icons in the control panel, restrict access to the C drive, and set a specific desktop wall. This policy under user configuration, I have the policy and preferences. So I'll go to policies, and then administrative templates. Go to control panel, and I'll expand that so that it becomes a little bit more visible. And here I have an option that says hide specific control panel items. If I double click on this, I'll just click on the enable, and at the bottom here it says list of disallowed control panel items. So this lab calls to disallow access to administrative tools, device manager, network and sharing center, and a couple of others. If I click on show, nothing has been enabled here, or nothing has been written in here to get disabled. So the way I add, or you'll go about adding items to be disabled, is you click here and you just type the name of the control panel item. Now I'm gonna have a look at the control panel here, and I want to disable first the administrative tools and then the device manager. Here it is. So administrative tools and device manager. So I'm gonna type the name in, administrative tools, and the next line will be device manager. I'll just add those two and I click on OK, and then I'll click on apply and click on OK again. Now you see that it's enabled. So the next settings that I'll enable is the restricting access to the C drive. So to get to that setting, I'll go back to my policies, administrative templates, and now I'll expand Windows components. So under Windows components, I have a lot of options here, and I can find the setting that I'm looking for under File Explorer. That setting is here, hide these specific drives in my computer. If I double click on it, again, it's not configured. I want to enable it, and at the bottom here it says restrict all drives, but I don't want to restrict all drive. I only want to restrict access to this. Restrict is the C drive only. This will prevent users from accessing the C drive. Click on apply and click on OK. Now the next setting asks to for a desktop wallpaper. Okay, that setting will be found under desktop, and again I click on there's a subfolder called desktop under desktop, and there's a setting that says desktop wallpaper. If I double click on that, I click on enable, and it's asking me at the bottom here for the wallpaper name. So I have to give it access to tell it where that wallpaper is located. Now I have a wallpaper in C \temp, and that wallpaper is just called wallpaper. Okay, I can see my wallpaper is actually in C temp, and this is the file wallpaper. Okay, so I have to put the extension, the wallpaper.jpg. If I don't, it may give me an issue. Then I click on apply and I click on OK. And that's it for the group policy. Now I'm going to minimize this, and this restricted access policy that I've just created has not been applied to any organization. This is where I'm going to apply that policy. So to apply a policy to an organizational unit, all you need to do is right click on the OU and click on link an existing GPO, which is this option here. So if I click on that, I want to look at my policies here, and the one that I just created is restricted access. Then I click on OK. So now I have this restricted access policy will be applied to all users and computers under this. I'll click on the policy, and I can see that authenticated users, that this policy will be applied to authenticated users, and I'll just leave that as authenticated users because I know that the policy will authenticated users mean any user that logs into the domain and is successfully authenticated. At the settings, you can see that under user configuration we have the administrative templates, and you can expand all of these to see exactly what options have been enabled in this policy. So the first one that we created is it will disallow control panel items, and these are the two that I've added. And the second policy was to enable a specific wallpaper on the desktop, and the third policy was to restrict the C drive, which is here. Okay, so this is my Windows client machine, or my workstation that this policy should apply to. It is a policy that will be applied to my user account, not the actual computer itself, but it will only apply to my user account. Okay, so let's go ahead and look if our policies worked. First, I can see that I have a blank screen, and that is because of this little issue at the bottom here. It says that a copy of Windows is not genuine. So for that to for the wallpaper to get changed, I have to actually activate Windows, so we wouldn't be able to see exactly how that works. But the other two set of policies that we created is one to block access to the C drive, so we will not be able to see the C drive. And so if I open up Windows Explorer, I click on computer, the only thing I can see now is my D drive, and this is a shared drive to my server, which is drive S, so there's no C drive. One other thing that we did was restrict certain access to a couple of the icons or programs in control panel. So if I click on the start and go to my control panel, there is no administrative tools and there's no device manager. So you can see administrative tools is missing at the top there, and device manager is also missing. Even if I click on start and I search for device manager, it will not open the device manager. If I do the same thing here and I click on administrative tool, if I search for administrative tools, so it does not bring up the administrative tools, neither the device manager.